All right, you guys, we're at day 5 of the Diddy's trial with Cassidy cross-examined. Now, I want to talk about Justin Bieber speaks out on rumors he was abused by P. Diddy. Now, Justin Bieber is speaking out for the first time as rapper trials continue. Now, Justin Bieber insisted he is not a victim of Sean P. Diddy Combs' alleged crimes and said he doesn't want to draw any attention away from the real accusers. In a statement to page 6, the 31-year-old pop star representative shared, although Justin is not amongst Sean Combs' victims, these are individuals who was genuinely harmed by him. They add, shifting focus away from this reality, detract from the justice these victims rightfully deserve. See, last year, fans speculated that the baby singer we have been a victim of Diddy's alleged crimes ahead of the Laffer arrest for sex trafficking in September 2024. Now, Justin Bieber is coming out for the first time to speak. Now, things is, getting very tense as we see this trial continue. Justin Bieber is coming out. So it says, at the time of Diddy's arrest, videos of the duo resurfaced, including one of them talking about the 48 hours they will be spending together when Justin was just 15 years old. Another showed Diddy telling then teenager pop sensation to keep the details of their hangout a secret. Where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose. But it's definitely a 15-year-old dream. Combs 55 says in a video, the Bad Boy Record founder then told viewers that the baby hitmaker was signed it with Usher, whom he obtained legal guardianship of him. Bieber, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. Combs declared, adding, we're going to go full buck, full crazy, Combs says. So several people expected Bieber to speak out when Combs was arrested, but insiders told people that he was focused on his son, Jack Blues, and Haley Bieber, one notable person who had a huge involvement in the trial so far is Diddy ex Cassidy Ventura, who had been on the stand at a New York City courthouse for 3 straight days this week. The 38-year-old singer has told the court about their on and off relationships that lasted from 2007 until 2018. She gave her account on the alleged freak-off Diddy hosts with her as well, her alleged sexual abuse and blackmail as the trial continued its first week and New York cities. So it says on Tuesday, May 14th, the singer spoke in details about the now infamous surveillance footage of Diddy 55 kicking and hitting her outside of a Los Angeles hotel room in March 2016. She testified that she didn't fight back because it made him more violent. Made stronger, she added that if she did fight back, it surprised the rapper after the rapper arrested in September. He was accused of sexual abuse and rape by his former girlfriend, Cassidy Ventura, and a handful of other people. Diddy and his legal team have firmly denied all allegations made against him. So now, the trial, which kicked off on Monday, has been filled with some horrifying allegations now. So now, Justin Bieber has spoke out on rumors of him and Diddy. Now, this is not looking too good. This is really not looking good on Sean Diddy Combs right now. So it says Justin Bieber has spoke out on these rumors abused by Diddy. So now, Diddy bizarre trial moments. You just can't make these things up. So we see now they drag in Britney into the trial on Thursday. Now, Cassidy took the stand again and told the jury the disgraced musician brought Spears to a 21 birthday party in Las Vegas, as well as the singer-songwriter Dallas Austin. She previously testified how Diddy kissed her during this relationship and had been prior to the event. Cassidy says Sean was there and brought Dallas Austin, Britney Spears. I think those was the two people that stand out to me. Now it says, according to the photos, the group also attended a party the same night at Hard Hotel Casino. So this was at the Hard Rock Hotel Casino in Las Vegas, which hosted by 50 Cent. Ventura explained when Diddy kissed her that night, she was signed to his record label, but he was just her music producer at the time. So now it says the trial, which kicked off on Monday, had been filled with some horrifying allegations against the rapper. On Monday, May 12th, during the day of the trial, prosecutors claimed Combs once forced a male escort to urinate in Ventura's mouth during one of the rapper's famous freak-off parties. During the trial, Assistant U.S. Attorneys Emily Johnson detailed the alleged incident in which Combs instructed the escorts to reveal him in Ventura's mouth. The singer later told our officials she felt like she was choking during the disturbance act. Wow, another bizarre moment. So it says now, Cassie testified Diddy raped her and threatened to release sex tapes during the first day of his testimony Tuesday at Combs' sex trafficking trial. Cassidy described being pressured into degrading sexual intercourse, which paid sex workers. Sean Diddy Combs jurors can't hide their reaction to these graphic photos. Now, I want to talk about Justin Bieber because Justin Bieber is another victim in this Diddy case. And Justin Bieber has spoke out for the first time, and you know, I want to read what Bieber's, he spoke out of these rumors. He was abused by Diddy at one of the freak off parties. So Justin Bieber insists he is not a victim of Sean Diddy's Combs' alleged crimes, and said he doesn't want to draw any attentions away from the will accusers. In a statement to page 6, the 31-year-old pop star representatives share, although Justin is not among Sean Diddy's victims, there are individuals who were genuinely harmed by him. They add, shifting focus away from this reality detract from the justice system. These victims rightfully deserve. Last year, fans speculate that the baby singer may have been a victim of Diddy's alleged crimes ahead of the arrest for the sex trafficking in September 2024. Now, Justin Bieber, in other words, he spoke out, but whether he be a reliable witness, so it says on Tuesday, May 14th, the singer spoke on details about the now infamous surveillance footage of Diddy 55 kicking and hitting her outside of a Los Angeles hotel room in March 2016. She testified that she didn't fight back because it made him more violent and made stronger him more. She added that if she did not fight back, it surprised the rapper. After the rapper arrest in September, he was accused of sexual abuse and rape by his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, and a handful of other people. Diddy and his legal teams have firmly denied all these allegations made against him. So it says, several people expected that Justin Bieber should speak out. So it says, now, it says Bieber spoke out when Combs was arrested, but insiders told people that he was focused on his son, Jack Blue, and his families. So whether Justin Bieber will be a reliable witness, that's still to come. So now it says Justin Bieber is focused on his family right now. So it says he's focused on his son, Jack Blue, and Haley Bieber, one notable person who have a huge involvement in the trial. So far as Diddy ex Cassidy Ventura, who has been on the stand at the New York City courthouse for 3 straight days this week. The 38-year-old singer has told the court about the on and off relationship that lasts from 2007 until 2008. She gave her account on the alleged freak-off Diddy hosts with her, as well as her alleged sexual abuse and blackmail as the trial continues its first week. in New York City. So it says at the time of Diddy's arrest, videos of the duo resurfaced, including one of them talking about the 48 hours they will be spending together when Justin was just 15 years old. Another shows Diddy telling the teen pop sensation to keep the details of their hangout a secret. Now, but they use Justin Bieber as a reliable witness. Now, that's still to come, man, because there's something that, in the secret society, they don't want to bring out. Now, Justin should speak out, because there's a lot of things. And the same with Usher. So if the government knows, right? Because these things, see these things was flown through the internet. The videos about the relationship with Diddy and Beaver, the relationship that he had with Usher. So why, as right now, why is none of these stuff is being said? But let's go. So it says the 15-year-old Dream Combs 55 says in the video, the Bad Boy Record founder then told viewers that the baby hitmaker was signed with Usher, whom he obtained legal guardianship of him, Beaver, but for the next 48 hours, he will be with me. Declare adding, we going to go full buck, full crazy. Whatever that means, y'all. Whatever that means. So I think that Justin Bieber should speak out on this. And see, this is why I feel that when it comes to the court legal systems and when it comes to NBC, New York Times, the Wall Street Journal was asking for these videos because something just don't make sense. Why are they hiding this? I feel like they're hiding this. Justin Bieber, he should be a witness of the Diddy's trial, right along with Usher. So I want to read this what it says here. It says both prosecutor and the defense team are also on this point. It says both parties support sealing the videos. Not they include the nuances of these videos and identifiable content involving alleged victims around balancing press freedom with victims protection, something court has struggled with for decades, especially in a case involving celebrities, sex, and alleged abuse. Now, this is explicit. Like when you see high profile cases, sexual abuse, coercion, engagement. This should be, this should be out for the press. But since they disclose this information because they don't want people to get this kind of information. They don't want the public to seek this kind of information. Because when the jurors looked at these graphic videos, it was horrifying. So let's roll this clip. We got a lot to cover.
on Combs' side, Luigi Mangioni's attorney showed up in court to show support for Combs. Of course, she's married to Combs' lead attorney, Mark Agnifilo, Karen Friedman Agnifilo, but she was there, and Diddy looked happy to see her. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Who's going to continue with that cross-examination? But they're really, they didn't really have any like gotcha moments with Cassie in terms of in terms of catching her in inconsistency or anything like that. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. Andy?
My last question before I let you go, Lisa, because this has been so very insightful into day 4 of this case. But as we watched during open statements, it's not only about what they say, but who says it in terms of the lawyer that presents some of this. And it was interesting to look at the cross-examination as Anna Escobedo there cross-examining, asking questions, chatting with Cassie, getting comfortable with her. How did you view that? What was your perspective on having her be the person to cross-examine Cassie?
Well, I think they definitely, it was clear to everybody, they definitely wanted a woman to do it. They definitely wanted a woman, a woman to approach her. And she was being very, I don't want to say laid back, because Anna, the defense lawyer, she was, of course, very, very involved. But in terms of the approach with her, it was much more conversational. But she was also, there were a lot of objections by the prosecution to the way she was asking questions. And then we learned also, too, from sources that early this morning, the defense had failed to meet the request. There was an April 27th deadline for them to supply the prosecution with all of the evidence that they would be presenting in court, like all of these text messages. And apparently that didn't happen. They missed that deadline. So yesterday the judge had ordered them to get them to the prosecutors as soon as possible, like basically ASAP. And then there was a dump of reportedly thousands of text messages, or a lot of information for prosecutors to go through at about 3 a.m. this morning. That's how close to the wire the defense is playing it. So that typically is not a good indicator of things that have been well thought out. But on the other hand, defense attorneys will say, we don't want to tip our hand with the prosecutors too much in advance. So that might have been what was behind all of that. But the fact of having a woman do the cross-examination was critical, because the last thing they wanted to do, Cassie is a tremendously sympathetic figure. Her courage, Andy, think about that. Just going up there and talking about these, like the lowest moments of her, and admitting to, what she did, which is not anything any woman would really ever want people to know. And doing it in open court with the eyes of the world on her, that takes a lot of guts. And of course, the other bombshell from yesterday, we have to remind people, was the $20 million that she got as the settlement from Combs. She was asked another question, Andy, that was really, really important, that everybody in the court was kind of like going, whoa. Anna asked her, the attorney asked her, would you say that your lawsuit ruined Sean Combs? And then there was another.
Little or not, the lawsuit ruined Sean Combs' reputation. Because, we settled out Cassie $20 million. He should have gave her at least $40 million. And he wouldn't be in this predicament. And he would have went his separate way. And Diddy wouldn't have to, be in this situation. But now that we seen, Cassidy open up the Pandora box and notice that she dragged Britney Spears. And so now we seeing Britney Spears is dragged into the trial on Thursday, when Cassidy took the stand again and told the jurors the disgraced musician brought Spears to her during her 21st birthday in Las Vegas, as well as the singer-songwriter Dallas Austin. She previously testified how Diddy kissed her during this relationship and had been prior to the event, Cassidy says. Sean Diddy Combs was there, and he brought Dallas Austin, Britney Spears. I think those was the two people that stand out to me. According to the photos, the group also attended a party the same night at Hard Rock Hotel Casino, which was hosted by 50 Cent. Ventura explained, when Diddy kissed her that night, she was signed to his record label. but he was just her music producer at the time. So now it says the trial was kicked off on Monday and had been filled with some horrifying allegations against the rapper. On Monday, when Cassie opened up her statements during the day of trial, prosecution claimed that Combs was forced a male escort to urinate in Ventura's mouth during one of the rapper's famous freak-off parties. Now it says, during the trial, Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson details the alleged incident in which Combs instructed the escort to reveal him in Ventura's mouth. The singer later told the officials he felt like she was choking during the disturbing act. Now, if found convicted, Diddy can face up to 15 years in prison. Now let's roll this footage. We got a lot to cover, you guys. Let's roll this footage though.
Objection, and then there was a rephrasing, and Cassie said yes, it did, because it basically did. I mean, his empire, his reputation, everything is totally a 180 from what it was before that November 2023 lawsuit was filed, Andy.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Of course, Cassie mentioning that about it, but it's obviously.
You know, you guys, this is just the very tip of the iceberg. His reputation is ruined. I mean, this thing is like it's over because now you about to start seeing the celebrities starting to testify. Now I told you, Cassie done opened up the Pandora. Now she brought Britney Spears into it. Remember, J Lo was the start witness to the prosecution case. This thing is about to really start to unfold. This thing really is going to bust open, and I'm thinking that Diddy may have to start telling because this thing is going to really get ugly.
Conversation about is Diddy ruined Cassie's career and now Cassie potentially ruined Diddy. So it's a very interesting argument being made there in court. And we just saw the support system for Sean Diddy Combs, his kids leaving the courthouse just moments ago. Lisa Evers, I appreciate your time though. Great insight as always. Day number 4 wrapping up there in New York City. We appreciate it.
Folks, just wanted to give you some of that insight right there. We are getting some new details that I want to pass along to you right now. And let's just refresh so I can get you guys the latest here. All right. During cross-examination, audio was played of Cassie saying, "I will kill you, cut you up, and I'm not playing with you, Sean." Diddy is heard replying, "Because I'm not disrespectful, bro." Cassie confirms it was her voice in the audio. She said Combs had expressed concern about the videos being released. She also believed an escort named Jonathan may have recorded a video. Sean Combs was upset after sex videos of Cassie Ventura leaked. She testified Mr. Combs would make sure that a video would not get released, right? Cassie, the defense attorney, Combs' attorney, Ventura seemed to confirm this as well. All right, so again, some major takeaways happening right now. We'll continue to provide you these updates when we get them more. We are continuing to give you these updates as fast as we get them. We want to bring them out to you. But right now, we are seeing the cross-examination really start today, talking about the drug use and alcohol use of Diddy. the defense wants to frame this as, look, look at the jurors. They want to say, look,
Look, you know, we know it was alcohol, drugs at this party. But I've been saying this, man. I've been saying this in my last video that there's someone I feel that's in conflict interest, and I believe that, and nobody's talking about him. I've been talking about him yesterday. You know, Clyde Davis. You know, Diddy. Like I said, Diddy. He wasn't a violent person when he got into an industry. He wasn't. He wasn't even a hard drinker. So something led to this kind of behavior. Someone enticed him into this kind of behavior. Someone like bribed him, because the Diddy that we all know, he was drinking champagne before he got into Ciroc and all that. You know, his behavior had changed during the course. So that's why a lot of people need to check in on this man named Clyde Davis, because, like I said, Clyde Davis had Prince killed, and Clyde Davis is a big. I guess he's a big magician. You know what I mean? And I've been telling you guys that Clyde Davis, you know what I mean, that's Diddy's right hand man. And Clyde Davis, you know what I mean, he controls the industry. You know, little you guys may not know, he controls this industry. And it's sad to see that one man's locked up. You know, remember Jeff Epstein murder in prison. And a lot of his stuff didn't get out. So it's this is disgrace, man. It's disgrace to see one man locked up, fighting for his life. You know, and once this trial gets really underway, you know what I mean. We are going to see more celebrities. You know what I mean. We are going to see, and it's like someone should be held, you know what I mean, accountable. It should be some kind of accountability. You know, so I feel, you know, there's going to be more people dragged. This road is footage, but yeah, we got a lot to cover.
we know our client is not the best guy. We know that he has several issues. Domestic violence is one of them, but also drug use is very paramount in his life. They want to establish this because any of the other really allegations that come out against Sean Combs, the defense can always say that he was under the influence at this time. So they are trying to plant that right now in the jury's mind. Also, by describing the amount of rehab that he went to, that is going to be brought up a little bit later here in this trial, where we will get a little bit more info on Sean Combs going to rehab, how he overdosed and almost died in one of his freak off marathon sessions that happened there. So this is going to be key as we move forward here in this trial, as the defense really, again, like I said, trying to establish that moment of Sean Combs having a deep alcohol and drug use problem. So we'll be keeping our eyes on that. If you're just joining us, cross-examination really starting with the incident in 2016. The Cassie did say on the stand that Sean Combs was physically intoxicated and on drugs during that time when he did assault Cassie, and that was caught on the camera. Then days after, we were shown some text message exchanges that Diddy seemed remorseful, wanted to have sex with Ventura in the coming days. She was recuperating, she said, and it felt a little strange given that he just her down. Both at the end of that conversation did exchange love yous once again. And this is key because the defense are trying to show that Cassie was not totally scared of the incident, was still engaging and having conversations with him during this time. So, again, just a little bit more details coming from the cross examination that we're able to pass along to you, always worldwide on Live Now from Fox, giving you
Look, what the attorney need to do now? They need to investigate the industry. What caused Diddy to have this kind of behavior? What triggered it? You know, they need to investigate the industry. Because when you have wild freak off parties, these things is it happens. It's common. Is you know, when you party in LA, Los Angeles, you know what I mean, these after parties, these freak off parties they had very long time ago. You know what I mean? So you know, if I was Diddy's team, I would investigate. I'll investigate the industry carefully because at the end of the day, it's one man locked up. They need to know what goes on in these freak off parties. One man can't be held accountable. You know, there has to be a investigation. You know what I mean? There has to be a full investigation. You can't just get one guy and not check in and see who is all at these freak off parties. Because this has been going on in Hollywood for decades. You know. And I always tell you guys when it comes to our black celebrities, you know what I mean, we are the target today. We are the target. So I feel Diddy's team needs to open up a full-time investigation. Let them look into this industry and see how it is. So that the court will know how the secret society is and how it runs and who runs Hollywood.
these updates to the best of our abilities here. Let's wait for some more updates as we get them. They're continuing to talk about the incident in 2016, really the timeline after, just days after, talking of the relationship of Sean Combs and Cassie. Now, what the defense wants to do is showcase a moment that we've all seen, right? The jury has seen this video in 2016. It's brutal, right? I mean, beating her, dragging her, kicking her, stomping on her. The defense wants to show, though, that in most relationships, if someone did that to someone, they'd be out. They would have ran away. They would have said, "Okay, I'm done with this. I don't want to be a part of this." But they are going to try to show from these text messages that Cassie still loved him and wanted to be with him, and felt that he only did this when he was intoxicated and when he was on drugs. That's one of the key things that came out earlier this morning, because in those text messages she says, when you get this effed up, this is the way you act. So really showcasing to the defense and really the jury, saying, okay, you can see he clearly has a problem. She knows he has a problem. I'm sure other people in the industry knew he had a problem, and I'm sure that some of the defense witnesses later on in the trial will be bringing some of those witnesses to clarify and really drive home that Sean Combs did have a problem with drugs and alcohol. He'd act loopy, he wasn't himself, and he would just sometimes get real violent as well. So yeah.
Look, I'm gonna say it like this. when you playing this kind of dangerous game, when you sign your soul to the devil, yes, you're gonna be in this kind of condition. See, that's why it says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed from renewing your mind. That's why it says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but you have to be transformed by the renewing your mind. There's so many people that goes to Hollywood and sell their soul. You can't sell your soul in this day, in this age. Otherwise, you're gonna face many problems in your life, like Diddy, like Melly. See, the industry is not a game to be played with. It's either you're gonna serve God or you're gonna serve Satan. You're gonna serve God or you're gonna serve Satan. Choose this day. Who do you gonna serve?
That is something that we should really focus in on today as one of the major takeaways that we are seeing. Again, Diddy is watching this all from the defense stand. And I was talking a little bit yesterday, remember, to Attorney Ben.
Let me see. Let me say this for a second. Let me stop this video for a second. Now, Diddy's in trial, got his Bible, pleading. Plead for mercy. It's too late. It's too late. I don't wish Diddy to have to sit behind bars. But if you look how Diddy was running an enterprise for 20 years, if you look that he got into this industry, see, once you get in, you can't get out. Once you get in it, you can't get out of it. Now, Diddy been begging. In one video, he was crying. He was seeking help. You can't get these figures without doing the ritual. So I've been saying, for the love of money is a rule all evil. And those people who are eager for it will do anything that they can. You only get, a moment of joy before all hell break loose. People didn't travel the world. People did this, did that. But at the end of the day, they so worn out. You see them so tired. You can see the face. You can see these people's face, they worn out. Because the miserable they are in. And I've been saying miserable, a miserable person. See, miserable love company. When you that miserable, when you did all this, did that, at the end of the day, you're going to be miserable. You're going to want out. I guarantee if Diddy gets out, I'm just going to say, if he gets out this one, he's going to look at a lot of things different in his life. He's not going to want to go that route anymore. So should Diddy be given a chance to get back to society? See, you see how R. Kelly was given a chance. They had the tape. People said they seen the tape. And R. Kelly was found not guilty. You see how the industry works though? You know what I mean? They cut you a break. Look at you know what I mean, the indictment, the RICO indictment that Young Thug was going through. Remember what Young Thug said, man, if I ever go to jail, I'm gonna be gay. This what coming out Young Thug's mouth. But after, you know what I mean, after reality started setting in, he was facing reality. He was facing some time. You know, when your reality set in, you're gonna overlook some things. You ain't gonna want to be in that kind of position.
Taylor, we'll have him on throughout this trial, but I was talking about how weird, and this must be strange for Sean Combs, that his life, everything that he knew about it, probably for the last 30 years, is completely reversed. I'm talking about having, a 20,000 square foot mansion, multiple mansions on on each coast. Now he's in a cell. He's lucky to have 500 square feet. So the mental, really tingling, if you will, that Sean Combs is under right now has to be very, very eye-opening. And they always say when that cell door does click in and you hear it bang and you know it's locked up, things have definitely changed in your life here. But Sean Combs fighting for his life. Not only is he fighting because if he's convicted on all the counts, he's looking at life in prison, but because
Look, I don't want the fame. I don't want the fortune. Because I know, you know what I mean, getting that, you know what I mean, fame and fortune, I'm not going to be pleased with my life. You're going to be totally miserable. Because you have to do a lot just to keep up. You know what I mean? There's a lot of trouble people got to go on and do. You see, I don't want that. I don't want to put myself in a position, get locked up. Diddy, you know what I mean, 55 years old. What you doing going to jail 55 years old? See, leave that industry stuff alone. I do not want it. You can't give me 2 cents because I don't want it. You couldn't pay me to get in the industry. You couldn't pay me 2 cents because I don't want it. I don't want it. I hope you guys understand. Playing with Satan is playing with fire, a very hot fire. Diddy will be so lucky if he beats this case. He'll be so lucky if he gets out on a pardon. And I'm not wishing no bad on him. But I just want to say this to you guys, that the industry is not for black culture.
of the serious nature of these allegations, and if he's found guilty on some of these RICO charges, the government is going to do what is called asset forfeiture, meaning they are going to take all of his assets as well. So they are going to, again, take anything that's in the bank accounts, which is probably a lot. They're going to take and assume ownership of his homes, sell.
You see all that? When you get found guilty, all that status you got goes out the window. They get all your money. They come collect, get all that. It's just a waste. It's just a waste. It's a whole setup here. You see how they set up black culture? It's a whole setup. It's a waste. It's a waste of time to try to sell our you know what I mean, our gift and talent in this day and time. There's a lot of us gifted and talented. There's a lot of have a gift, but you can't sell your gift in this day and time. Oh, so you think it's gonna be time served? Yeah, there's a lot of people think it might be a time served because a lot of people checking into this case as they looking at this case as a domestic violence case. But I'm not looking at this case as a domestic violence case. I'm looking at the severity of this case, of this nature. And I think what Cassie did was open up the Pandora box. You see how she dragged Britney Spears? Next thing you know, if Britney Spears takes a stance, they're going to drag another celebrity in. That's how it goes. Right. You know what I mean? If he get caught trafficking, that's 25 years to life. Coercion? This thing is just getting started. You know, I think I think they using Cassidy to get everything started. Now Justin Bieber spoke out for the first time. And you know, the sad thing is Justin Bieber know what happened after he freak off. Whether he testified or not. See, I've been saying this to you guys, people careers, their brand, you know what I mean? This thing about their reputation. I think, be honest with you, I think these freak off parties, these videos was graphic where NBC couldn't get a hold, you know what I mean? The Wall Street journalists, you even had NBC, ABC, and the Business Insiders. They couldn't even get none of these photos that they was asked for. They wanted videos of these, you know what I mean, of these gruesome, you know what I mean, images. Just show us the video, and that would be enough. You know. So what I think that the court is paid because this is a serious RICO case, right? I remember R. Kelly case. You remember when he was found not guilty, and a lot of people said that was R. Kelly on the tape. A lot of that tape was just going around, and a lot of people said that was R. Kelly. Now, how he beat that, how he got it cranked, I don't know. I do not know. You know, but it's strange that when the press, when you got ABC, NBC, you had the Business Insiders, we had, you know what I mean, the Wall Street journalists, they was asking for this video. And we know how graphic it is because the juries was looking to the video. And their eyes was this whole writing. They couldn't believe it. It's horrifying, in other words. That's why they didn't want to, you know what I mean, bring the videos out. Why you think this high profile case is confidential? They didn't want to televise it because how confidential it is. Yeah, you got male escorts, you know what I mean, and he had male, you know what I mean, he had male sex workers, females, and there was all participants, man, of these freak offs. And my thing is, all of them was participants, man. Yeah, that's what it is. It's too many rich people. When you got so many rich people, this shit can be easy bot. I think the whole court system is bot, y'all. You know what I mean? I remember there was and big shout out to him too. To can't think of his name. Willie D. Willie D says they don't arrest billionaires. If you guys know who Willie D is. He says that they don't even arrest billionaires. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be interesting, man. There's a lot of these, yeah, there's a lot of these millionaires, billionaires, man. I think the court system is bot, y'all. Because, you know, every high profile case be televised, y'all. Y'all seen from what's her name? I believe is it Casey Casey what's her last name? I can't think of her name. She was being charged with killing, you know what I mean, her daughter. Is it Casey Anthony if I'm not mistaken? And she was found not guilty. And they you know what I mean? They followed that case all the way through. You know? And so now they don't want this case to be televised. Why? Why? Because they don't want to expose the industry. That's why. They don't want to expose it. Because that one tape, that one tape in the freak off tells the whole story. Tells the whole story. See what y'all don't realize, man. We are living in a wicked, corrupted justice system. And this is why I look at it, everything's paid for, man. There was 190 witnesses. Now, how this thing gonna play out, I don't know. I can't tell you guys. But one thing I do know is they starting with Cassie's statements. And now Cassie brought Britney Spears in it. Remember, Jennifer Lopez supposed to be a star witness to the prosecution case. Remember that. Just keep. I want you guys just keep things in mind. Exactly. All of them was at these parties, man. All of them was at these parties, man. Even Trump was at the wild freak all party. See, that's why I say, man, you have from presidents, man. This thing's serious, man. And they don't want to they don't want to get this kind of information out, man. But that's why I say the whole justice system is a disgrace, y'all. It's disgrace, bro. Because that's how you know it's bought. You know, if you got money, money can buy you out a lot of things, man. Period, man. These people, they're not going to risk their careers, y'all. They got brand. They got these endorsements. You know what I mean? They trying to go out here and get a bag. So much stuff is at stake, man. But you can tell who was at these wild freak off parties. Diddy threw the best parties in LA, man. He was the icon. He holds the keys. They trusted him. Right. Exactly. Why did Homeland Security made this into a federal case? They made this because you know why? Because for some reason they've been watching Diddy, y'all. They've been, you know what I mean? If you watch these things on the internet, they got, you know what I mean, the tapes was surfing. That's the reason why they was watching it. They're watching Diddy, man, for a long time. So it's this, can they prove that he was running an enterprise 20 years? Can they prove that he has some involvement in racketeering? Can they prove that there was some coercion? Can they prove that there was some engagement in prostitution with minors? Can they prove this? Because if they can't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, then how should we treat this case? Should it go to the state? Should they treat this case as a domestic violence case? But like I said, fam, we don't know. We don't know yet. I mean, this is just the beginning of the tipping of the iceberg.
Those market value, impound his cars, take all his jewelry, and everything else. So there is a lot on the line, not only for Sean Combs, but his family as well. The sons and daughters have to be thinking, okay, if he goes in and is convicted, we aren't getting any of his money where maybe they did think down the line they would after he died. So that's another key thing to definitely talk about here on Live Down from Fox as we continue to roll on and just waiting for more key updates.
See, the sad thing is they trying to get a hold of all his stocks, right? His assets and all that, right? So the kids, his kids is going to be left without nothing. You see how wicked this shit is, man? You know what I mean? If Diddy was to die in jail, they're not going to get anything because they're going to take all his endorsements away. They're going to take all this away from him. You know, you're not worth anything no more. You know? Children's is not going to get any assets. They ain't going to get nothing. Once they start taking all his assets away, his endorsements, they're going to take everything. Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense, man, because look, man, you had 190 people in this case, right? Right? Money talks, y'all. Money talks. I feel like everybody chipped in. And the courts paid, man. This case, I won't be surprised. It's paid for, man. It's paid for, y'all. You know? It's paid for. So however this case turned out, we already know. We already know. They say that this case supposed to last 2 months. Let's see. Let's see if they bring 190 witnesses. I'm about to say 199, but 190 witnesses in. What's all these witnesses that they subpoenaed? If you got a case, if you charging this man with racketeering, right? Coercion, right? Engagement into prostitution with minor. If you charge this man with all this, right? Then raving the evidence. They said they got more victims in the lawsuit case. Let's see. It's only time. We only got time to see. Because we all got time to see what's going to happen. What's going to actually go down.
To pass along to you. We're on Live Now from Fox, continuing to give our updates all in real time here. I do want to pass out some more information to you that we are getting from the court reporters that are inside right now. I'll play that out here for you. Coming up. Okay. Sean Combs was upset after sex videos of Cassie Ventura leaked. She testified Mr. Combs would want to make sure that a video would not get released, right? According to the defense attorney, Combs' attorney said Ventura seemed to confirm this. Ventura testifies that she and Sean Combs used Cowboys for Angels, an escort service featured on Showtime's Gigolos. Ventura confirmed that she was worried escorts she and Combs used might appear on Gigolos and expose their relationship. Defense attorney noted that some freak-off escorts were on the show, but Ventura said she never watched less than 45 days.
Now, I urge you guys to go watch Gene Deal's show. He was Diddy ex bodyguard, man. He knows a lot about Diddy. He knows about these wild freak off parties. There's a lot of people think that, that there was no freak off parties in Hollywood. But like I said, Gene Deal, Jad Wright is the real deal. And Jad Wright was saying that she knows right off the bat 20 who's living with HIV, you know, and they spreading this stuff at these wild freak off parties, y'all. But yeah, man, I urge you guys just go watch Gene Deal and Jad Wright, because they talk about these things, man. They talk about the industry. You know what I mean? They talk about how bizarre it is. You know what I mean? Horrifying. You know what I mean? Videos and things. That's the reason why. I think that's the reason why they don't want to show this graphic image. See, the court can see, but you can't see it. We know how graphic things is, y'all. We know because they had videos of Diddy and Meek Mills. You know what I mean? We know about Usher. We know about Usher, was fighting Diddy because Diddy was, Diddy was trying to rape Usher at one point. You hear the stories, like, it tells you a lot. The stories tell you a lot. Diddy told on himself, he used to fight over Frosted Flakes. He used to fight over that booty, man. He wasn't fighting over the Frosted Flakes. He was fighting over that man's booty and trying to turn him out. When Usher was only what? I believe he was 13? When he was living with Diddy? Usher seen some things. See, this thing is so disgraced and sick, y'all. Because if they got all this that you can see, right? Why these people are not going to be at Diddy's trial to testify? It's like they put it in your face. Yeah, we used to fight over Frosted Flakes. Come on, are you serious? You fighting over some cereal? What's this about? That we fighting over some damn Frosted Flakes cereal? No, man. Diddy is fighting over that booty, man. And he was trying to get Usher then, trying to sign him then. So you gotta understand, man. Diddy, whether y'all look at him as an entrepreneur, look, man. I think it was just a time that, Diddy was changing. You know what I mean? And you starting to see his behavior starting to change over the course of years. Of course, man. But who's involved? Who's the head boss of the industry? Who's the top mobster that nobody don't want to talk about? Well, it gotta be Clyde Davis. Clyde Davis, the head of the mafia, of the gay mafia. You know, he's the head of it all. So now I think that now they need to look. They need to look into these things, man. You know what I mean? They need to bring these kind of people in, because I don't think that this is a domestic violence case. I think the society, the secret society world been secret. I think this industry been secret. Nobody want to come out. because everybody was at the parties. You know, so you know, there's a lot of things people was involved in at these parties, man. And I'm just gonna say it like that, man.
Sex with Ventura in the coming days. She was recuperating, she said, and it felt a little strange given that he just beat her down. Both at the end of that conversation did exchange love views once again. And this is key because defense are trying to show that Cassie was not totally scared of the incident, was still engaging and having conversations with him during this time. So, again, just a little bit more details coming from the cross examination that we're able to pass along to you. Always worldwide on Live Now from Fox, giving you these updates to the best of our abilities here. Let's wait for some more updates as we get them there. Continuing to talk about the incident in 2016, really the timeline after, just days after, talking of the relationship of Sean Combs and Cassie. Now, what the defense wants to do is showcase a moment that we've all seen, right? That the jury has seen this video in 2016. It's brutal, right? I mean, beating her, dragging her, kicking her, stomping on her. Defense wants to show, though, that in most relationships, if someone did that to someone, they'd be out. They would have ran away. They would have said, "Okay, I'm done with this. I don't want to be a part of this." But they are going to try to show from these text messages that Cassie still loved him and wanted to be with him, and felt that he only did this when he was intoxicated and when he was on drugs. That's one of the key things that came out earlier this morning, because in those text messages, she says, when you get this effed up, this is the way you act. So really showcasing to the defense and really the jury, saying, okay, you can see he clearly has a problem. She knows he has a problem. I'm sure other people in the industry knew he had a problem, and I'm sure that some of the defense witnesses later on in the trial will be bringing some of those witnesses to clarify and really drive home that Sean Combs did have a problem with drugs and alcohol. He'd act loopy, he wasn't himself, and he would just sometimes get really violent as well. So that is something that we should really focus in on today as one of the major takeaways that we are seeing. Again, Diddy is watching this all from the defense stand, and I was talking a little bit.
Okay, y'all. Who y'all think that needs to be the star witness in this case? Comment below. It says on Tuesday, May 14th, there was a singer spoke in details about the now infamous surveillance footage of Diddy 55 kicking and hitting her outside of a Los Angeles hotel room in March 2016. Now, Cassie testified that she didn't fight back because it made him more violent. It made stronger, she add, that if she did fight back, it surprised the rapper. After the rapper arrested in September, he was accused of sexual abuse and rape by his former girlfriend, Cassidy Ventura, and a handful of other people. Diddy and his legal team have firmly denied all allegations made against him. It says several people expected that Justin Bieber speaks out when Combs was arrested, but insiders told people that he was focused on his son Jack Blue and Haley Bieber. So really, is Justin Bieber is he focused more on his family than what Diddy did to him? You know, Justin Bieber is another star witness in this case. Usher is another star witness in this case. There are some star witnesses in this case that can really bust this case wide open. But I think it's a lot of things paid for, and that people are afraid to testify in this case. We got to see how everything's going to transpire. Because there are multiple people that can testify in this case. And the sad thing is, money talk, man. You know what I mean? But all these celebrities got money. It's easy that the court system could easily get paid, man, and don't have to bring up the 190 witness. So my thing is, what was the whole purpose that Tony Buzzy said we got numerous witnesses, and they got the video, and the video tells horrifying graphic photos, and if they got all this, why is it that they not presenting it? Now, still early in this trial, but I guess that they didn't want this case to be televised. They didn't want everybody to see this case. Because they know how bad this case is. Let's roll this footage.
Yesterday, remember, to Attorney Ben Taylor. We'll have him on throughout this trial, but I was talking about how weird this must be and strange for Sean Combs that his life, everything that he knew about it, probably for the last 30 years, is completely reversed. I'm talking about having, a 20,000 square foot mansion, multiple mansions on each coast. Now he's in a cell. He's lucky to have 500 square feet. So the mental, really tingling, if you will, that Sean Combs is under right now has to be very, very eye-opening. And they always say, when that cell door does click in and you hear it bang and you know it's locked up, things have definitely changed in your life here. But Sean Combs fighting for his life. Not only is he fighting because if convicted on all the counts, he's looking at life in prison, but because of the serious nature of these allegations, and if he's found guilty on some of these RICO charges, the government is going to do what is called asset forfeiture, meaning they are going to take all of his assets as well. So they are going to, again, take care of anything that.
Told you guys, if they find him racketeering, coercion, they're gonna take up all his assets, endorsements, everything. His children's not gonna, gonna have any, of his assets. They're not gonna be able to get anything if Diddy die in jail. I don't wish that on nobody, but if he happened to die in prison, wherever the case be, they're not going to get anything. These people going after his assets, man. And it's sad. It's wicked too. This man ain't gonna be worth nothing. See, he's not gonna be talked about. After they go after your assets, now you're not going to be worth talking about anymore. You know. And the sad thing, how they set our people up, man. And they set us up, man, to go on and hit this reset button all over and try to do all over again, man. They're trying to make this man where he's not worth anything after they've trying to get the conviction. Because this is what they talking about. Taking the assets endorsement, taking everything that he owns away from him. And that his children can't get any of anything that if he was died, he can't leave anything with his children. That means that his family have to suffer.
That's in the bank accounts, which is probably a lot. They're going to take and assume ownership of his homes, sell those at market value, impound his cars, take all his jewelry, and everything else. So there is a lot on the line, not only for Sean Combs, but his family as well. The sons and daughters have to be thinking, okay, if he goes in and is convicted, we aren't getting any of his money where maybe they did think down the line they would after he died. So that's another key thing to definitely talk about here on Live Now from Fox as we continue to roll on. And just waiting for more key updates to pass along to you. Here on Live Now from Fox, continuing to give our updates all in real time here. I do want to pass out some more information to you that we are getting from the court reporters that are inside right now. I'm going to play that out here for you. Coming up. Let's see here. We refresh to the latest. Okay. Sean Combs was upset after sex videos of Cassie Ventura leaked. She testified Mr. Combs would want to make sure that a video would not get released, right? According to the defense attorney, Combs' attorney said Ventura seemed to confirm this. Ventura testifies that she and Sean Combs used Cowboys for Angels, an escort service featured on Showtime's Gigolos. Ventura confirmed that she'd been worried escorts she and Combs used might appear on Gigolos and expose their relationship. Defense attorney noted that some freak-off escorts were on the show, but Ventura said she never watched it. Cassie Ventura said she entered inpatient treatment for mental health in early 2023 and began writing her book there. She also confirmed that she's been on medication since 2022 for opioid addiction. The program lasted 45 days. So they are trying to clear that right now in the jury's mind. Also, by describing the amount of rehab that he went to, that is going to be brought up a little bit later here in this trial, where we will get. That is going to be brought up a little bit later here in this trial, where we will get a little bit more info on Sean Combs going to rehab, how he overdosed and almost died in one of his freak off marathon sessions that happened there. So this is going to be key as we move forward here in this trial, as the defense really, again, like I said, trying to establish that moment of Sean Combs having a deep alcohol and drug use problem. So we'll be keeping our eyes on that. If you're just joining us, cross-examination really starting with the incident in 2016. That Cassie did say on the stand that Sean Combs was visibly intoxicated in on drugs during that time when he did assault Cassie that was caught on the camera. Then days after we were shown some text message exchanges that Diddy seemed remorseful, wanted
What's
to
going on, Mark?
have sex with Ventura in the coming days. She was recuperating, she said, and it felt a little strange given that he just beat her down. Both at the end of that conversation did exchange love yous once again. And this is key because defense are trying to show that Cassie was not totally scared of the incident, was still engaging and having conversations with him during this time. So again, just a little bit more details coming from the cross examination.
You know, I want to say the truth that Cassie. They said Cassie still have love for Diddy, and you know, we all know this was a violent relationship. You know, and that when Diddy met Cassidy, she was what? She was 19. He was 37. You have 18 years apart. And Diddy was Cassidy producer. He had signed her into the music industry. So when you get signed in the industry, you know what I mean, you know, it's like you gotta do these acts. In other words, you gotta do these sexual acts wherever. You know what I mean, to get the status, the recognition, the things that you know what I mean people get. You know what I mean, because you can't. It's like you can't go in the industry without not doing these rituals. You know what I mean. So I think to some point, you know what I mean, whether there was freak off sections and you know what I mean, I think at some point, you know, because they charge him with coercion. You know what I mean, and they trying to make it like he cohorted his victims. And so I'm looking at this right because I pretty much know how the industry runs. When Diddy is an entrepreneur and he signs like he signed Cassidy, you know what I mean. It's just like when Jay-Z signed Rihanna. You know what I mean. It's these rituals you have to do. You know what I mean. And so she was in on doing these rituals. You know what I mean. So my thing is, can can the state believe that Cassidy was involved in these freak off sections, and can they prove? I mean, this case is just starting though. Can they prove that Diddy coerced, you know what I mean, Cassidy into doing these sexual activities? That's the thing that they need to look into. Oh yeah, there's a lot of people gonna say that. There's a lot of them saying that now. They don't want to be a victim because the reason why that is because there was a lot of these sexual acts going on in the freak offs. You know what I mean? We all know that these drinks were spiked. We all know who was. You know what I mean? There was a lot of people attendance. You know what I mean? A lot of things were going on at these freak off parties, and a lot of things people ain't gonna say. They ain't gonna jeopardize their careers. People ain't gonna jeopardize their endorsements, their brand. They ain't gonna do all that. You know, is this how wicked the society is? This how wicked the secret of society is. You know what I mean? That means you gotta question Clyde Davis. You got to question the big people that's involved. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's a lot of people involved. Ain't nobody, you know what I mean? Nobody want to go to trial. Nobody want to see when this is Diddy, you know what I mean? Rico trial. Yeah, nobody want to, you know what I mean? They don't want to be, you know what I mean, victims in this trial. You know what I mean? So much stuff is at stake, man. You know. So at the end of the day, we will have to see how things going to play out. Who's going to be victims? Who's going to go be willing to testify in this trial? How many names going to be dragged in? That's the thing that we got to look into.
to pass along to you, always worldwide on Live Now from Fox, giving you these updates to the best of our abilities here. Let's wait for some more updates as we get them. They're continuing to talk about the incident in 2016, really the timeline after, just days after, talking of the relationship of Sean Combs and Cassie. Now, what the defense wants to do is showcase a moment that we've all seen, right? The jury has seen this video in 2016. It's brutal, right? I mean, beating her, dragging her, kicking her, stomping on her. Defense wants to show, though, that in most relationships, if someone did that to someone, they'd be out. They would have ran away. They would have said, "Okay, I'm done with this. I don't want to be a part of this." But they are going to try to show from these text messages that Cassie still loved him and wanted to be with him, and felt that he only did this when he was intoxicated and when he was on drugs. That's one of the key things that came out earlier this morning, because in those text messages she says, when you get this effed up, this is the way you act. So really showcasing to the defense and really the jury, saying, okay, you can see he clearly has a problem. She knows he has a problem. I'm sure other people in the industry knew he had a problem, and I'm sure that some of the defense witnesses later on in the trial will be bringing some of those witnesses to clarify and really drive home that, yeah, Sean Combs did have a problem with drugs and alcohol. He'd act loopy, he wasn't himself, and he would just sometimes get really violent as well. So, yeah, that is something that we should really, really focus in on today as one of the major takeaways that we are seeing. Again, Diddy is watching this all from the defense stand. And I was talking a little bit yesterday, remember, to Attorney Ben Taylor. We'll have him on throughout this trial, but I was talking about how weird this must be and strange for Sean Combs that his life, everything that he knew about it probably for the last 30 years, is completely reversed. I'm talking about having, a 20,000 square foot mansion, multiple mansions on each coast. Now he's in a cell. He's lucky.
Look, what they don't say is Satan give you all this. He'll give you his kingdom. See, in this time we living in, brother, Satan will offer his kingdom pretty soon. He'll give you all this if you bow down and serve him. I give you half my kingdom. See, so this ain't nothing new, man. When they talk about Diddy got the nice, homes he has in Miami, Los Angeles, New York. He lived a luxurious life. And see, the thing of it is, see, all these things Satan will give you if you bow down and serve him. But see, you're going to be miserable at the end of the day. You will be miserable at the end of the day. Because fame, fortune will lead you in the wrong place that you'll wake up and reality is setting in. So this is a dangerous game, man, to play, to get yourself in the industry, to sign on that dotted line, to sell your soul. It's a dangerous game, man. It's a dangerous game to even want to play. Yeah, I give you all my kingdom. If you bow down, I give you all this. I give this to you. Right. Once you trying to do right, the devil take all of it back, man. Once you making money, the money that they making, that they got, and you high in rank, and you making all this, yeah, you gotta do the sacrifice over again. And the sacrifice is consequence that comes with these sacrifices. So yeah. But the thing of it is, You know what I mean? The Diddy is yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? The Diddy is the public right now eyes. You know what I mean? And my thing, why is one man going down? Why is one man taking a fall? See, it's going to be very interesting how this thing turn out because we gonna know how it's gonna turn out when we see who's gonna be involved in this case. How many people are gonna be involved testifying? How many people are gonna hide? How many people that don't want to be victims? Because that's what it's turning out to be. And people don't want to be victims in this case, man. People don't want to have anything to do with the wild freak off party. People, I'm telling y'all, man, people do not want to be the victims of this case, man. Some people, this half of the people don't want to testify, man. Because they're afraid if Diddy gets to talking and think it's going to get ugly. It's going to get real ugly. It's going to get real funky. You know what I mean? They already says, you know what I mean, his trial is going to last 2 months. Exactly. You know what I mean? So, industry, you know what I mean? Man, Hollywood always been dirty, y'all. Hollywood been long dirty. Way before Diddy stepped in. Hollywood always dirty. Hollywood, these parties always filled with drugs, alcohol. That's nothing new. It's nothing new. How Hollywood always used to be. You know what I mean? They already had freak off parties, man. Not this cause Diddy, you know what I mean, had these wild. Hollywood already been, you know what I mean, consists of freak off parties, alcohol, drugs, prostitutes, swingers, homosexuals, gays. It always been consist like that. Right. That's the main distraction right now. It's Trump. Right. You know what I mean? It's a distraction because they want us to focus on the Diddy trial, and not focus what's really going on. We not focus on, you know what I mean? I stay focused, y'all. I stay focused at the Diddy's trial. I stay focused on politics, what Trump is doing. You know what I mean? But it's a whole distraction. I think this whole thing is for them to hit the reset button, y'all. You know what I mean? And there's you know what I mean? There's a big problem at hand, y'all. Then this Diddy's trial. You know. But yeah, man. This trial gonna be dragged, y'all. They're gonna drag this trial. They're gonna drag it out for 2 months. So I know for a fact that what's at stake, and people are afraid to testify, man. People are afraid to be victims. If you're a victim in this case, you know what I mean? You need to testify. There's people like Usher, you know what I mean? Justin Bieber, you know what I mean? There's other groups that Diddy signed, you know what I mean? That, you know, whatever happened to 112, if I'm not mistaken, that's the group that Diddy signed, the 112 group. What happened to B2K? You know. But like I said, y'all, there's just so much at stake, man. People are afraid, man. If you send on millions, you got millions of dollars, and you got your brand, and you going here, collecting bags, and that's what it's about. You continue to go out there and chase your bag, make your money. And so many people are so afraid right now. You know what I mean? What's at stake? And it's going to come to a point that reality is going to set in so fast in this case. And Diddy going to, Diddy, I think some point Diddy going to spill the beans. You know what I mean? He going to spill the beans. I told you guys, man, how this case is going to be. His mama is going to be dragged. And the reason why, because in closing arguments, the sad thing how, the state will drag his mom into it. Because you got to remember, man, Diddy had growing up as a child, his childhood life. You know what I mean? Him losing his dad, his mom throwing the wild freak off parties. You know, they're gonna want to know, what did he get this kind of behavior from? Who enticed him? You know, because if you bring your own mama into it, see, that's another thing. You know, it's another thing. You know what I mean? To check in. You know what I mean? The mama history. She was drug dealer. She threw the wild parties. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Diddy had pretty much a rough childhood, losing his dad at a young age. I guess he lost his dad. He was probably 2 or 3 years old. You know, that says a lot, man. You know what I mean? It's going to say a lot, man. When they get ready to get close to the closing arguments, it's going to say a lot. You know what I mean? It says a lot, man. You know what I mean? How you was raised as a child. You know what I mean? The parenting, and you know what I mean? The relationships. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? The relationship he had with his mom. You know, the sad thing is, the state. I won't put nothing past it, y'all. That the state would drag Diddy's mom into it, because you got to remember now, when it comes to assets, stocks, and they will take from you. Yes, this going to be serious. That I won't be surprised that they will drag his mom into it.
They have 500 square feet. So the mental, really tingling, if you will, that Sean Combs is under right now has to be very, very eye opening. And they always say, when that cell door does click in and you hear it bang and you know it's locked up, things have definitely changed in your life here. But Sean Combs fighting for his life. Not only is he fighting because if convicted on all the counts, he's looking at life in prison, but because of the serious nature of these allegations, and if he's found guilty on some of these RICO charges, um, the government is going to do what is called asset forfeiture, meaning they are going to take all of his assets as well. So they are going to, again, take anything that's in the bank accounts, which is probably a lot. They're going to take and assume ownership of his homes, sell those at market value, impound his cars, take all his jewelry, and everything else. So there is a lot on the line, and not only for Sean Combs, but his family as well. The sons and daughters have to be thinking, okay, if he goes in and is convicted, we aren't getting any of his money where maybe they did think down the line they would after he died. So that's another key thing to definitely talk about here on Live Down from Fox as we continue to roll on. And I'm just waiting for more key updates to pass along to you. Here on Live Now from Fox, continuing to give our updates all in real time here. I do want to pass out some more information to you that we are getting from the court reporters that are inside right now. I'm going to play that out here for you. Coming up. Let's see here. Let me refresh to the latest. Okay. Sean Combs was upset after sex videos of Cassie Ventura leaked. She testified Mr. Combs would want to make sure that a video would not get released, right? According to the defense attorney, Combs' attorney said Ventura seemed to confirm this. Ventura testifies that she and Sean Combs used Cowboys for Angels, an escort service featured on Showtime's Gigolos. Ventura confirmed that she'd been worried escorts she and Combs used might appear on Gigolos and expose their relationship. Defense attorney noted that some freak-off escorts were on the show, but Ventura said she never watched it. Cassie Ventura said she entered inpatient treatment for mental health in early 2023 and began writing her book there. She also confirmed that she's been on medication since 2022 for opioid addiction. The program lasted 45 days. A little bit more details here from the court reporter, which you want to know what that fee is. All right, let's look here. We are seeing more from Cassie's attorney right now. Let's listen in live. Have a good morning. Just got a little bit of that exchange right there. Cassie's attorney is going into the courtroom as well as is on the stand right there. All right, so some major takeaways that we have been able to bring to you here on Live Now from Fox. Again, more updates coming. We will wait for them once they do happen. Again, I'll just pop in and continue to chime in for you to the best of our abilities right now, right? Again, let's just talk about what do you remember following the period of the Intercontinental incident? The defense attorney asked Kathy. Not a whole lot, she says. I ended up back in New York doing a promo for the movie. After that, I don't really remember too much. Ventura replied, referring to her 2016 film, The Perfect Match. In earlier testimony, she noted that she attended the film's premiere party 2 days after Sean Combs beat her in a hallway of the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles. Ventura said that she also attended a spa in Sedona, California for a week to detox from heavy drug use after the meeting as well. The defense right now is questioning Cassie Ventura about this 2013 birthday party for her brother, where she allegedly got into a physical altercation with a woman and told Sean Combs that she tried to kill the man. The lawyers just broke for a sidebar to discuss more issues, which has been happening a lot this morning as well. Continuing to follow the latest for you here on Live Now from Fox. Let me just read off some of the latest updates, just in case you are just joining us here on Live Now from Fox. I want to do a special shout out for one of the viewers, JD, earlier saying, not a Fox fan, but this is the best coverage of this trial. It's very nice of you, JD. Thank you. We appreciate you watching with us and giving us a chance. Let me get a little bit more updates. Cassie says Combs was wary of her dating or giving attention to other men, even during breaks in their decade-long relationship. She says the hip-hop star took her phone from her on numerous occasions, including when he found out she was dating a football player and when she suspected her of dancing with the singer Chris Brown. Cassie didn't name the player and denied dancing with Brown. That is all coming up here in this cross-examination as well. Also, earlier today, lawyers debated a 30-second video of Combs in nature to jog Ventura's memory of his rehab attendance. The defense wants it admitted but won't show it to the jury. Also, let's bring you other updates here that we are getting. Ventura says that Combs was intoxicated during the 2016 Intercontinental altercation, clarifying her past blackout statement to investigators. Defense attorney probes Combs' drug use. Everyone's perception differs, Ventura says. The defense shows text where Combs proposed sex with Ventura post 2016 Intercontinental beating. Ventura replied, "We need a different vibe," hinting at the attack. They signed off with love use. Combs seemed remorseful. The jury has seen Ventura's March 10, 2016 text to Combs. "When you get effed up in the wrong way, you always want to show me power and knock me around. I'm not a rag doll of someone's child," read aloud. The jury also used messages from days after the 2016 Intercontinental altercation. Combs expressed sexual desire for Ventura under cross-examination. Ventura says she found it a little strange. Combs also in the text wrote, "I'm following," Ventura replied. "Not a good vibe. We need a different vibe than Friday." Combs then said, "F Friday, LOL. I don't want to do that again." They exchanged love yous once again. Sorry, that was running away on me there. That video there, but we are back here with you on the Live Now from Fox again, giving you these updates in real time as we continue to get them. More of a live look here outside of the courthouse. Again, waiting for more key updates, bringing you as we get them in real time. There, we would love to have that. I think every media outlet would. The problem is because these are federal charges and there is no cameras allowed in any federal courtroom. So we are stuck with giving you the updates as we get them here on Live Now from Fox and also by our members as well. But what I'll do is, you're right, we should be looking at these revolving door all the whole time. Yeah, I'll from time to time definitely showcase just some of the latest sketches as well, and we'll show Diddy video, and we'll show Cassie video. So we'll go through some of that. Good call right there. We appreciate that. We're watching worldwide on Live Now from Fox. Everyone again, appreciate you joining us. Aging Carroll's sexual abuse and defamation case against Donald Trump. But there is something different about this trial. Spectators have lined up overnight. There are 2 overflow rooms for visitors, and at times the trial feels like a reality show. Just yesterday, a supporter of Combs gasped and threw her hands up during Cassie Ventura's cross-examination. Gallery outbursts, while not unheard of, still feel out of place in a storied courthouse with a tradition of professionalism. Cassie Ventura appeared remarkably calm and composed under cross-examination yesterday as Sean Combs' lawyer tried to poke holes in her testimony and paint her as complicit in the music mogul's drug-fueled activity. So far, there has been little to no discrepancy between Ventura's direct testimony earlier this week and what she said under cross-examination, a good sign for the prosecution. Given that her time on the stand is winding down, we'll see if the defense questioning becomes a little bit more aggressive today. Evidence that they might have. A long morning of questions cross-examiner. Prosecutors shot back in a letter to the judge overnight. Prosecutors said it seemed defense lawyers were intent on forcing Cassie to return to the witness stand on Monday so that Combs could review transcripts over the weekend and help them prepare additional questions for her. They also raised the risk of a mistrial if Cassie is required to return Monday, but instead goes into labor with her child over the weekend as well. Prosecutors want the judge to force Cassie's cross-examination to end on Friday. The complaints included the defense will have multiple more hours to question Cassie than the government took in its direct examination. A defense lawyer asked a question stemming from civil lawsuits against Combs rather than the criminal case, for example, by asking her if illegal substance were in the baby oil used during their freak-off sex parties. Considerable time was lost making Cassie lengthy text message chains out loud, even though they contained sexually explicit content or expressions of love. The defense effectively sandbagged prosecutors by turning over 400 exhibits at the last minute that might be used during its cross-examination, thereby losing time on discussion about evidence as well. Should also let you know that the judge has tried to clear the way for jurors to be brought in on time for what was hoped to be Cassie's last day on the witness stand. One item in dispute, a recording Combs made when he went to rehab after a March 2016 attack on Cassie at the elevator bank of a LA hotel. Prosecutor Emily Johnson said the video showed Combs wandering through nature as he spoke of religion, of God. She described it as an effort by Combs' lawyer to seek sympathy from the jury. On the video, Combs says that he has God in my heart. The judge watched it and then decided that the argument was moot because the defense agreed not to show the video to the jury. Again, Cassie returns to the witness stand today with a dark striped suit jacket over a light colored blouse. A defense attorney resumed her cross-examination with questions related to the March 2016 recording of Combs attacking Cassie at the elevator bank of a LA hotel. In it, Combs can be seen swinging Cassie to the floor, kicking her and dragging her into a hotel hallway. The defense had Cassie read aloud a text message in which she complained that Combs was out of control from drugs and alcohol that day. In the message, Cassie told Combs, "I'm not a rag doll, I'm somebody's child." After the hotel attack, she says there was a different vibe going on. I'll read that to you here in just moments on Live Now from Fox. Through text messages read aloud to the jury, defense attorney showed that Combs and Cassie were expressing love to one another again just days after the LA hotel attack as they tried to recover. Cassie told Combs in one text, "We need to change the vibe of this relationship." Updates we're getting here for you. Cassie has denied financial troubles before suing. Cassie denied a defense suggestion that she was having financial trouble before suing Combs in November of 2023 and securing a $20 million settlement. Combs' lawyer noted that Cassie, her husband, and children had moved.
Look, Cassie, she don't want to leave Diddy because she still have feelings. She's still in love with him. And when you're in love with a man for his money, because he's a billionaire and you know what I mean, he's a magician, you know what I mean, an icon. And see, Cassie don't. It's like sounding like Jay-Z and Beyonce. Beyonce don't want to leave Jay-Z. Beyonce don't know what she'd do if she leave Jay-Z. It's like Cassie don't know what she'd do if she leave Diddy, man. This thing, look, man. This thing's gonna get real serious. When they talking about taking everything from him. If they take his stocks, they take everything. Cassie's gonna be without. children's gonna be without. You know, so you know how bizarre things is in this case, man. I think Cassie says too much, and you know she lied about the whole story. You know, she's telling the state that she was raped by Diddy, but yet, you know what I mean, Diddy signed her, you know what I mean, and Diddy was Cassidy producer. And you guys know y'all get in the industry, man. You get in the industry, right? Y'all already know what y'all got to do in the industry. You can't get in the industry without doing these, you know what I mean, heinous crimes, sexual, you know what I mean, activities, wherever they got you doing. So like for instance, you know, remember Kanye, his new, you know what I mean, his new girl, Blanca. You know what I mean, the red carpet, how she was naked. That's a peak to get you in the industry. You have to do things beyond. So here's my thing, y'all. They need to try to, as right now, whoever comes to be a victim to testify, so far as Cassie. Because right now, we don't know who's gonna, you know what I mean, be victims that go on and testify in this case. But so far, we can probably see that this is turning to be a domestic violence, you know what I mean, case. And I'm looking at this with Cassie, this with hearing the open statements of Cassie. I think the part that Cassie said that she was raped by D, I think that's just a lie she gave the state. I think that the freak off party that Cassie was involved in was consensual. Because the reason why when Diddy signed her, when Diddy was Cassie's producer and signed her to be an R&B singer, Cassie got it. Now she got to perform. You can't get into the industry without not performing, without going and doing the rituals. You know, and the whole purpose of it is, I believe Clyde Davis allowed Diddy, you know what I mean, he gave Diddy the keys to, you know what I mean, you know what I mean, to run the industry. And when you know, like for instance, you get Rick Ross. When Rick Ross signed Meek Mills. When you get higher up, you got to go to the boss. See, Diddy went to the higher boss, which is Clyde Davis. And now Diddy's when Clyde Davis gave Diddy the key, you get other artists like the Game, all these other artists. They gotta go through Diddy. Like Jim Jones, you know what I mean. All them, you know what I mean. They gotta go through Diddy. They gotta go through Diddy, man. Why you think? Why you think the first thing when the Homeland Security invade, they came across finding those 1,000 baby oils. There was 1,000 baby oil in his house. They found that baby oil, Baby Johnson, and all this, you know what I mean. All these celebrities wearing pink. Jim Jones, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Cameron. Who else? 50 Cent. All of them are puppets, man. All of them. I think at some point Diddy, all of them had to go to Diddy because Diddy ran the empire. Diddy was control of the industry. I think Diddy was bigger than 50 Cent, bigger than all those names. You know what I mean? So they have to go through Diddy because Diddy was the next one up. You know what I mean? So nothing surprised me in this case, y'all. That so far, I'm looking at it. This looked like a domestic violence case. But unless more victims come forward, I'm not trying to sit here and say that he's innocent though. No, I'm not trying to say, well, he ran it. He was running an enterprise. You know what I mean, for 20 years. I believe that. Yeah. Do I believe that he has something to do with these victims and these freak off parties? I just believe that everybody was going to these freak off parties, and everybody had involvement in these freak off parties. You know what I mean? And I believe that at some point there's some coercion, but it's so hard to tell if Cassie was cohort in these sex workers and things. That's still to come. I don't see, the thing of it is, if you sign in the industry and this the things that you got to do, you got to perform these sexual acts. You know, the only thing I'm saying, whether she's saying did he force her into it, that's what she's saying, that she was forced into these sexual acts. But the thing I'm saying is, to get in the industry, you have to perform. You have to perform. So whether there was consensual or whether there was coercion, that's the thing that the state needs to prove. You know,
with her parents in Connecticut prior to the lawsuit. Cassie said they were relocated to the East Coast and that the move had nothing to do with money. Cassie, an R&B singer who was also planning to go to a concert tour to Australia and New Zealand in 2024, but ended up canceling after Combs settled her lawsuit within 24 hours of it being filed. That wasn't the reason why Cassie testified as well. So some more takeaways coming as the defense are now trying to put into the jury's mind. Well, maybe she sued him because she was in some financial distress. Again, I just want to read that again because I think that's pretty clear. Cassie denied a defense suggestion that she was having financial trouble before suing.
Cassie sued Diddy because she needs some money, man. You know what I mean? She's you around a man that got money. So how is it you going through financial stress? You know what I mean? How is that? I think there was a time, I think there was a time that Cassie was trying to break free from Diddy and trying to settle. You know what I mean, for 20 million. You know, the thing is, 20 million. If you settle, if someone settle you out with 20 million, 20 million is a lot of money to get you on your feet. You know, 20 million is a lot of money to get you on your feet. But like I said, man, maybe it wasn't enough for Cassidy. That's why I was saying that Diddy should have probably gave her 30, 40 million, maybe 50, send her away, man. You know what I mean? Because they didn't have love for each other like that. It was violent love, y'all. That was violent love. You know, it's kind of remind me of Kanye and Blanca. You know what I mean? You know, I just feel Cassidy. I feel that she lied in her statement. I feel that she was performing these sexual acts. I feel that, you know what I mean, it could have been consensual, because how is it you signed? You see the difference is, if Diddy didn't sign her, if she wasn't signed, you know what I mean, by Diddy, and she was just performing sexual acts, then we can talk about coercion. You know what I mean? Then we can talk about she was cohort. But once you sign the industry, and sometimes how the industry goes, you don't have to get signed by the big boss. They doing it where, you know what I mean, the big boss is not being seen no more. So the big boss is leaving it into guys like Diddy, Jay-Z, because Diddy was the head. You know what I mean? Diddy, and Diddy, if Diddy goes down, then you got Jay-Z. I think Jay-Z will be the next head. But Diddy was the head of Hollywood. He was the head of the industry. You know what I mean? So now, you know what I mean, the higher man is not going to be seen. So now he's when you got guy that's higher like Clyde Davis, and he's letting Diddy to be controlled. He's allowing Diddy to run it, giving Diddy the key to run it. And Diddy, like I said, Diddy was an entrepreneur, a good entrepreneur, and he did a lot of things from his home. You know what I mean? Just he signed Usher when Usher was what was he 15 or 13 at the time when he signed Usher? When Usher moved, you know what I mean, from New York to move to in LA with Diddy, you know? So it's the same scenario. Same exact scenario with Cassie. Now, if he didn't sign Cassie, Cassie was never signed on a, you know what I mean, you know what I mean, on the label. You know what I mean? If Cassie wasn't Diddy's producer, then we can look at coercion. But y'all know once a person gets signed in the industry, you know what I mean, you gotta perform. This time you gotta perform. So I can agree that, you know what I mean, that these wild freak off that Cassie was on, I can believe at some point that it was consensual because Cassie, she said she was having fun, she liked it, she liked what she was doing. So definitely, you know, the defense have a strong argument on that, and they'll have to prove the state, you know what I mean, that the parties that Cassie choose to go on because they had text messages and saying that she liked it, the wild freak off party. So if they can prove that the text that Cassie had text and that she was enjoying these wild freak off parties, then we can prove that, you know what I mean, that the parties Cassie, you know what I mean, was having was consensual.
Suing Combs in November of 2023 and securing a $80 million settlement. Combs' lawyer noted that Cassie, her husband, and children had moved in with her parents in Connecticut prior to the lawsuit. But Cassie said they were relocating to the East Coast and that the move had nothing to do with money. Cassie, an R&B singer who was also planning to go on a concert tour to Australia and New Zealand in 2024, but ended up canceling after Combs settled her lawsuit within 24 hours of it being filed. That was not the reason why she canceled, she says on the stand. All right, some other updates that we're getting for you. Ventura told Combs that they needed closure. He replied with a teary emoji, calling her his ride or die. She admitted it once meant something, asked if they shaped each other over the 11 years. She agreed. She confirmed her husband is a trainer and her upbringing was modest. Ventura admitted that she canceled a tour after settling her lawsuit, but said it wasn't about money. She stood by her domestic violence post when asked about a suggested message from Combs. She replied, I want it to be the first time for the rest of our lives as well. Again, we're waiting just for more major updates. I will continue to provide those to you when we do get them here on Live Now. Looking at that head, that's it. No. I'm just sitting with my equipment because I didn't get to grab, I didn't get to go do myself, but you got doing the fifth, correct?
like some people gave up because no, that ain't some people. I don't see them right now. Some people came the first few days, gave up because not like you're not getting paid. You're like, relax. Remember, let me copy that. I was like, Dawn, Dawn. No, that's not all. But like somebody else, basically million, bro. That's gone. That's gone. That's gone. That's gone. Well, I got him. I got him. Yo, listen. You get this money, bro. You gotta get this. Okay. Going on in general. Man, I don't know. Yeah. That was the girl from Daddy King. Gone. Look what you said. You said you did all types of stuff. Put it like this. Like that was another victim. Put it like that. That was a victim. I'll tell you what, bro. You want me right here? Let's hope each other out work. Keep our eyes on things.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, man. There's some things I got to do around the house, but check, you know what I mean. Check back with me for further updates in this day. You know what I mean. I believe what day 5 of the Diddy's trial. You guys been a blessing today. You know what I mean. And you know, it's been a long day. Covering up this trial of Diddy's. You know, just for more updates, this continue subscribe to the channel. Man, you guys been everything, man. Want to give a huge shout out to YouTube. YouTube is working on content creators. You know what I mean. Want to give a shout out to all you guys that's here. You know what I mean. Shout out to my to all my viewers, man. Cause I couldn't do this without you guys. You know what I mean. I couldn't do this without y'all. So I want to give a shout out to all you guys that's here. You know what I mean. And shout out to YouTube. You know what I mean. Because I couldn't do this, man, without you guys and YouTube algorithm, man, and YouTube pushing, you know what I mean, pushing this video and you know what I mean, helping small content creators like myself, man, and you know, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing. You know what I mean. I thank you guys. You guys been a help. You guys been the upliftment for me, man, to keep me, you know what I mean, making this kind of, content. You know what I mean. So for more content, if you guys like this video, please subscribe to the channel for more content. Gotta wrap things up. You know, yeah, man. You know, please for more content. If you guys like this video, please subscribe to the channel. Please stay updated for more content. And you know, day 5 of the Diddy's trial. Pretty much, I'm gonna probably pretty much wrap this up. You know, but I thank you guys, man. Really thank you guys. You guys been a blessing. You know, and get back on. I don't know if I'm gonna get back on later on, but yeah, man. I just had to cover up this. So for more updates, please stay, subscribe to the channel. We out. Thank you guys, man. I don't even want to go, man, because some of you guys still here. You know, I don't really want to go, but you know, but yeah, I want to wrap this up. Thank you guys. We out.